Can I start? Okay, well, thanks everybody in attendance for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start this a little after 6, a couple minutes after. We'll probably run until about 7 o'clock. So there'll be some times for Q&A for those of you that might have some questions you want to go ahead and ask. But I want to thank everybody for being here. I think I know most people. Greg Minicello, Chief here in Gates Mills. And I have here with me, so this is in partnership with Hunting Valley Police. So here we have Sergeant Nick Fatika from Hunting Valley, Officer Jessica Newsom, who's our crime prevention officer, and we have some members in attendance from the OCPA, the Ohio Crime Prevention Association. And this is John DePietro, and over here, walking up, we have Kate McLaughlin and President Bruce Felton here. So nice to attend as well. So really, it's going to be very informal. I'm just going to turn this over to both Jessica and Nick. They have a PowerPoint presentation. Feel free to take your seats anywhere. And like I said, real informal. There's some water in the back. If you have any questions, raise your hand. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer your questions. If they're talking and you want to jump in, no problem with that. So one other thing, this is going to be recorded. We're going to put it on our webpage. So, if you want to go back and review the information here at some point or pass on to friends, family, neighbors, whoever they might be, then feel free to do so. So we also have a special visitor here. Looks like a McGruff the crime dog here. Say hi, McGruff. This is our undercover police officer, Angie McKillen, but you don't know that. Oh, there we go. We'll get some photos later. But thank you for attending, and I'll go ahead and turn this over to, did you want to say something, John, or somebody from the association?
Yeah, I can do that. Come on up, Bruce. Good morning, everybody. Afternoon, evening, I guess. So we're so happy to be here on behalf of the Ohio Crime Prevention Association. My name is John DePietro. I'm the past president, and I'm also the senior instructor, and that's important because we have two of the most outstanding certified prevention specialists in the area. Jessica went through my class when we hosted it at Bluffton, and Nick went through my class when we were up in Lake County near Paynesville. Yep. So they have satisfied all the requirements to become an official certified prevention specialist. And yes, please give them a round of applause. The other thing I wanted to note, too, is that, especially with Jessica, she didn't want to wait for COVID. She says, hey, there's got to be a way we can do some really good community engagement. So she says, hey, let's set up a community Zoom. So I quickly learned about our Gates Mills pink sheet, and we worked on a presentation, and that was a great thing. So great way to stay in touch with the community during the challenges of COVID. So we're happy to do that. I do want to talk a little bit about McGruff. Now, McGruff is still around, as you can see, and we're really happy that McGruff is here. To give you a little bit of history on McGruff, he was actually invented, or we'll say born, back in 1984. Back in the 90s, I was on the board for the National Crime Prevention Council and the Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and we're the ones that kind of invented McGruff. And the reason McGruff was so important is we wanted to bring awareness with crime prevention. Now, who in the audience here can tell me what McGruff says? Thank you very much. There you got it. We got somebody. All right, you get an extra cookie. So I know it's been a while. It's been a while since McGruff, but he's still around, and we're happy he's here tonight. But I'm glad you said that, because every time we kind of introduce McGruff, somebody is so proud and they want to raise their hand and jump up, and they said, well, what does he say? And they say, only you can prevent forest fires. And I said, no, it's a great message, but that's the wrong mascot. So that's why we have McGruff here tonight. And I do want to introduce Kate. Kate is from the Euclid Police Department, and she is our district representative. Would you like to say a word, Kate?
Thank you. It's really nice to be here. District 3 is all of Northeast Ohio, from Ashland County over to Ashtabula County. So I represent a whole lot of law enforcement and other people. What I'd like to say today, if you know of anyone who's in law enforcement or security or even business people that are interested in being part of a great organization, OCPA is great, and I would be the person you'd contact, and I can get them involved. We do quite a bit like this and others, so keep me in mind. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Kate. And we also have our current president, which is Bruce Felton, who's a retired commander from the Solon Police Department. Bruce?
Thank you, John. And I will also keep it short. I just want to thank you all for coming. This is, obviously, we have a great passion for what we do. We think it's very important, and we think it's important because we want to keep our communities safe. Doesn't matter what community you live in, especially in today's world. Anybody can be vulnerable to crime. The best weapon is to be prepared and know what to do to prevent it. Because, it's, especially for those police officers, it's great to go out and catch the bad guy. But if we never give the bad guy a chance to be a bad guy, that's even better. So that's our job, that's our goal, that's what we try to do. So we appreciate you being here. Kate and I have something for the chiefs. Chief, if you could come back up.
Nick, did your chief show?
No.
Okay, well, then you can be in it.
You're gonna
What
be acting chief today.
what we did, we're going to have a photo op. Chief, come on up, please, if you would. On behalf of the Executive Board of the Ohio Crime Prevention Association and all our members and all our certified prevention specialists, we wanted to present both the Gates Mills Police Department as well as Hunting Valley Police Department with our Official Appreciation Award. Let's bring McGruff over here. Hold on. Let's get McGruff in here. There we go.
Come on in.
There we go. All right, can we move this a little bit? Let me move it. There we go. All right, now over here. Over there. All right. Awesome. Yes, very much so.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chief. Okay.
And Kate is gonna give this one to you.
Absolutely. Jump on in there. Somebody take another picture here.
Everybody smile.
Say, cheese whiz. We good? All right. All right. So thank you again to our friends at Gates Mills and also Hunting Valley. So Jessica, Nick, we'll toss it back over to you.
Okay. Russ, if you wanna
Yeah, you can go cool off.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Yeah. So this evening, we're going to do a PowerPoint, and we have some videos. We'll do questions at the end, like the chief said. So you're going to do the first few slides. Okay. So again, thank you, everyone, for coming. Let's see. Officer Newsome, I'm with Gates Mills. Sergeant Fatika, he's with Hunting Valley. John?
And you can see that is the official crime prevention certification. And just to be clear on that, a lot of times in a police department, you'll say, well, this person is going to be the crime prevention officer. Well, we basically brought some professional basic training to the whole process. And that's an example of the pin that the officers wear on their thing. So we're very happy to say that they're CPS. Can we talk?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about this. A little bit about Ohio crime prevention. You can see that our mission is to reduce crime, the fear of crime, and also opportunities throughout the state of Ohio for different crime. So what do I do there?
You just hit this arrow.
Oh, thank you. So a little bit more about OCPA. We were founded in 1977, and that's interesting because our very first grant that we received from the state of Ohio to deal with crime, believe it or not, was a littering grant. Remember back in the 70s and the problem we had with littering, and remember the Indian that had a little tear in his eye and everything? Because, yeah, I'm sure you don't remember that, but yeah. That's interesting because if you fast forward to where we are today, now we're getting grants for, active shooter events and violent crimes and things like that. It's kind of disappointing. But we develop and we advance a continuum of different training opportunities. One of our flagship training, obviously, is the basic crime prevention with the certification. And then we also provide what's called technical assistance. This is an example of what we're doing tonight. When we worked with Jessica for the Zoom thing, some other things. We recently helped a lot of our houses of worship throughout the state of Ohio. We provide training for safety and security. And if you didn't know this, there's actually some grant funding right now for what we call target hardening for nonprofits and churches and things of that sort. So we've helped out a lot of the houses of worship throughout Ohio for that. So that's a little bit about OCPA, and want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. This is interesting here because does everybody remember who Sir Robert Peel is? Basically, we call Sir Robert Peel the father of modern day policing. One of the reasons is because we had the Metropolitan Police Act way back in the day. But the big takeaway, and this is a long time ago, but we understood that crime prevention is probably the one significant role that law enforcement takes on. I believe it's been lost a little bit over the years. We focused on the war against drugs, and we're into the terrorism now. But the bottom line is that it's about preventing crime and actually engaging the community. Because we thought, and Sir Robert Peel said that, you know, the police are the public and the public are the police. With the only exception is police are paid to give their full-time attention to creating public safety. But a lot of his, excuse me, a lot of his ideas that he came up for the Metropolitan Police Act was basically that our main focus at the onset is to prevent crime.
So what is crime prevention? It's the anticipation, recognition, and appraisal of crime risks and the initiation of some action to remove or reduce it. Crime prevention is a proactive approach to a preventable crime rather than a reactive approach. What that means is reactive is the investigation and arrest after a crime has been committed, where proactive is positive steps taken prior to a crime which may prevent the occurrence of that crime, which is what we try to incorporate with these meetings. I have a little video.
The other day, when I came home, it was clear that someone had broken into my house. Did you know that many crimes are preventable? But what exactly is crime prevention, and what are the most effective measures of prevention? One way is to intervene during the early stages of life, by teaching children the right set of skills and attitudes. Another way is to install burglar-proof locks, doors, and windows. Or by creating a thriving community that can help keep an eye on the neighborhood. Crime prevention seeks to improve the quality of life and safety for all of us. Interested to learn more about crime prevention? Dive into our website.
Beliefs of crime prevention. Crime prevention experts insist that crime prevention is everyone's responsibility. This has provided crime prevention a central position in law enforcement as a cost-effective way to reduce crime while raising the quality of life.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Again, I'm Sergeant Nick Fatico, Hunting Valley Police Department. There's three components of the crime triangle. These three all have to exist. So the suspect and the desire has to be there. There has to be a victim, and there's got to be a location and opportunity. We're taught that there's 4 Ds of crime prevention: deny, delay, detect, and deter. To deny entry, the opportunity for the crime to occur, that's where your doors and windows are closed when you're not home. For the internet, it's strong passwords on all your accounts. That's one way to deny for, passwords. Delay entry, heightened awareness. Security devices such as locks to prevent the crime. Detect, that's use of devices at entryways to discover the act upon the commission. Alert your family, crime is in progress. Motion sensors, video cameras, lights. Deter, That's make them look elsewhere. You don't want to be an easy target. If you have signs posted, a well-lit house, windows aren't covered by shrubbery, it makes it a lot better for you to be safe. We in the OCPA like to throw in devalue too. Like banks, they put red dye in with the money. Somebody's going to take the money, but if it has the red dye, it doesn't have a value. Another thing is engrave your trailers, your boats, iPads with strong passwords. An iPad that is password protected, it's worth nothing on the black market.
If I could engage the audience just for a second. What you just see.
John.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me just engage everybody just for a second here. What you've just seen here were 3 of the basic strategies of crime prevention, including the definition itself. When we parse that out and we say the anticipation, recognition, and appraisal of a crime risk, that is where law enforcement are looking at crime stats, trying to determine patterns and things like that. But also tonight, and with the Zoom meeting that Jessica had a while ago, it's really engaging, doing a stakeholder interview, because we know now these days that not every crime is reported, is it? Not so much. So we're trying to anticipate and appraise the crime risks so that we understand what it is that the neighborhood, the business community is seeing that law enforcement should know. I'm concerned realistically because as time goes on, less and less crime is being reported, and let me qualify that very quickly. One of the jobs I used to do, I was a reporter and photographer for WHO Television in Dayton, Ohio. And if anybody's in the news media business, you know that there's something called an assignment editor. The assignment editor is kind of like the dispatcher for the news media. And if something was to happen here in Gates Valley, let's say there was a robbery down the road at this restaurant, the first thing that I'm sure Channel 19, Channel 8, or whatever, they're going to call up the chief and say, hey, chief, this is so-and-so from Fox 19, or what we need is the 911 call. Then we need a copy of the police report. Then we need the cruiser cam. Oh, and you guys probably have body cam videos now that most departments have. We want a copy of that. So people are getting smart, understanding that if I make a phone call to the police, I'm probably going to be identified as the person who called, and therefore I'm a little bit concerned of retaliation. That's where we're headed right now, and it's very scary to me and other crime prevention practitioners across the nation. So I think the remedy to that is doing what's called a stakeholder interview, bringing people together, going to neighborhood watch groups, going to your service organizations, and just saying, hey, what are you seeing? What are your concerns? Things like that. And then trying to engage that, and then reporting back to the chief, and then they come back with some sort of a deployment strategy, but also with good crime prevention resources. As you can see back there, both Nick and Jessica did a great job. They rounded up some resources that you'll be able to take home with you, but also doing training like we're doing tonight. Now, that was the very first strategy on crime prevention, the definition itself. And we have to talk about the actions to remove or reduce the risk. So this is the call to action where we say, you just have to do something. Please do something. So now let me keep going a little bit further. So that you understand the crime triangle, and we've got the 4 Ds, and how many counted 5 Ds? There's a reason for that. The D value is something that we kind of just add on depending on what the audience is. D value came about with a lot of the different planning we did with terrorist attacks and what type of value would this target be, very much like the World Trade Center, very much like the Pentagon. How do we devalue a target? But there's much value in that, also putting that in with the existing 4 Ds. So the 4 Ds up there that you can see, deny, delay, detect, and deter, that's our basic that we're working from. But somebody throw out a typical crime that we're always concerned about. Burglary. Who said burglary? I think the mayor did. Thank you, Mayor. She's helping me out here. So we're going to say burglary. That's a crime that's been around for a long time. It's still a problem. So here's where we play a game called First Thoughts. And this is where we're going to throw everything together here with the Ds. The triangle shows you that it takes a victim, it takes the desire of a suspect, but it also takes the opportunity. We have the most control over what? Opportunity. You've heard the term, how do we reduce the opportunity of becoming a victim of crime? That's the whole takeaway on the crime triangle, reducing that opportunity. So going back to our burglary, somebody toss out, what one thing would you do to prevent a burglary from happening? Just throw something out there. Lights. What else do we have? Locking your doors. Thank you very much. Anything else? An alarm system. Thank you. Those are 3 really good ones just right off the bat. Now, what we do in order to check our work on the crime triangle, Nick and Jessica, you remember this, don't you? If I'm looking at deny, we just had 3 really good examples. We had the lights, we had the alarm, and we had the locks. Deny would capture what? Certainly the locks. Do you agree? Because we're denying entry. Would it delay? Maybe it could. If you have a couple locks or you have a really good lock on there, the whole idea about delaying is that if a criminal is working on a door or trying to get into a building, the longer it takes them, the more opportunity for us to see him, a resident see him, and then call the police. Make sense? And then detect. Let's go over to the alarm system. Certainly the detect, doesn't it? An alarm system. And what comes with an alarm system usually is a little sign, or you see the little stickers on your window. What does that do up there? Certainly deters, doesn't it? Because if I'm a burglar and I'm coming and I've got 3 different houses I'm looking at, and 2 out of the 3 says they've got an alarm system, but the 3rd one doesn't, where do you think the bad guy's going to go? Probably to the one that doesn't have the alarm system. Sure. Thank you. We have, okay, we do this, I teach them how to go about doing this. We always have a dog, and I think Kate left, but she had done some research on it, is that, well, yes, that works out good. And the reason I was looking for Kate is because they had an interview with a serial burglar, and the same thing over at Shaker Heights, and the one thing that probably was more of a deterrent than anything, believe it or not, was a dog. So there is much value in having that dog. Very nicely done. And then we said, let me see, we said lights, right? We said lights? Okay. Yes. So if we do lights, lights aren't going to deny entry, is it? Right? No. Is it going to delay? Maybe there's just one light on the building, so now they have to walk around to the back of the building. And then finally, does it deter? It does deter, and it does detect. So you can see we've got some overlap here. So in order to have a comprehensive crime prevention program, it's good to focus on, 1, the definition, so we're kind of trying to figure out what our problems are out there and what the crime risks are. Secondly, we're going to go to the crime triangle. We're going to try and determine what the opportunities are we have the most control over, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper in it and start saying, what are the initiatives that we're going to do? And we want to make sure that we cover all those Ds. Does that make sense? Please.
When you're talking about all these devices, is it worthwhile to have a camera outside somewhere and put a sign up that says? I go over that.
She's got it. We're gonna get into a lot more detail, but I really just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that these strategies, they kind of flow together and they will help you, because the goal is that when you leave, you're gonna be able to take these strategies and apply it to everything, where you work, where you live. Yes, sir?
Can a light also deter, however?
Yes, it does.
If you're a seasoned criminal and you keep going by the house and you're looking at it, and you see that light is still sitting there at 3 o'clock in the morning in the same place and no movement or nothing like that, doesn't it kind of say, hey, maybe these people are away?
Maybe it's on a timer or something like that. It could, but then you really don't know. But to answer your question, we like to say, if you're going to do timers and you're going to do things to make your house look like it's lived in, to be systematically unsystematic. Now, what does that mean? We mix it up a little bit. So good call on that one. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Let me get this back to Jessica.
Thanks. Nancy, you brought up having an alarm system and make sure it's on when you leave the house, right? Yeah, let's make sure we activate the alarms when you leave the house. That's very important. Going into burglaries then, most happen when the home is empty. Burglaries are opportunists and often gain entry through open windows and unlocked doors. So you want to lock those doors and windows. 40 to 70% occur with the intruder entering unlocked doors and windows. Many thieves spend less than 5 minutes to commit the crime and leave. They're in and out. Typically, what we see is the master bedroom. They usually go straight to the master bedroom. That's usually where people have their jewelry, watches, money, cash. Usually master bedroom, yes. Prevention, he kind of touched base on this a little bit. You want, the best lock is a deadbolt lock. Alarm system, having the signage outside, even if you don't have an alarm system, you can purchase a sign off Amazon for like 10 bucks. Put it in your yard. Landscape placement, like he mentioned, no trees in front of the windows. Because you want to think of it like this, if your house is blacked out and we're driving by and there's a suspect trying to break in your front door or window and everything's blacked out and they're hiding behind bushes, we won't know. If you don't have an alarm system, nothing's going to go off. So when you get home, say from vacation or wherever you're at, you're going to come home to your house broken into, and could have been preventable. You know, if someone drives by and sees someone trying to break in your house and it's lit up, they're likely to call 911. Something's not right. Same with the alarm system. Going out of town, both departments, you know, we have the house watches, the VHL. So stop the mail, put your house on the VHL. Okay, let's see. Nancy, I have a video just for you, for your question.
Why are you doing that? What is a VHL?
So VHL is a vacation house watch. So if our residents go out of town or if it's a vacant house, we drive by 2 to 4 times in 24 hours. We check.
L being the log, I guess.
List. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, list. Yeah, list.
So
House watch.
one thing with that, your department does it too. The first day it goes on the list, an officer will walk the house to make sure it is indeed locked. A lot of times people say, hey, can you check our house? We go there and we find an unlocked door as they're on a flight to Florida. So we are checking, you know, make sure you lock it when you leave.
Yes. I don't know anyone here I've helped with this, but for the Gates Mills residents that are here, if you're interested and you don't have an alarm system or any cameras, I'm more than willing to come out, do a walkthrough of your house, give you some tips or pointers. I highly recommend cameras and alarm system. I have them at my house. This is kind of a video here. See if I can get it to play. Just like that. And this is from ring.com. They have a crime prevention category, actual footage from do one more here. And they're off. So back to the cameras, like I said, Ring has the Ring TV, which is crime prevention category. You can kind of go on there. Most camera systems offer the same thing. They just actually post videos for me to show you. But yeah, I suggest getting a camera on your doors. There's many cameras out there. I have created different spreadsheets for the common ones that people I've seen use in this area. So if you ever want a copy of them, just send me an email and I can send you kind of what each company offers. Again, I can walk around your house, tell you what I think would prevent crime for your property. So with that being said.
We'll get away from houses and jump into automotive. Automotive theft is on the rise. Criminals are starting to steal vehicles and commit crimes with that stolen vehicle. That way, their plate's not associated with the crime. By the time that vehicle will get reported stolen, it's already been used to commit a crime. So things we could do to prevent that is we got to take our keys out of the car. You'd be surprised how many people leave their keys in the car, plain sight. Remove your valuables, even if you go to an Indians game or something in a parking lot. If you have nothing in plain sight looking through the windows, you're not an easy target. They could go to the next car where Mrs. Jones has her purse laying on the front seat. Then we want to lock our car. These criminals are stealing cars. They're going for easy targets. An unlocked door, and usually if there's an unlocked door, there's keys somewhere. Porch pirates, it's evolving now with all the online shopping. The opportunity for stolen packages it's there now because there's more than ever. Things you could do to prevent that: require a signature, stop delivery or package when you're out of town, or if you're in Hunting Valley or Gates Mills, you could have your local police department retrieve your package and we'll deliver it to you, or you can pick it up when you return. If you see something suspicious, call. If you're driving down the road, you see somebody out of place going to somebody's front door, call us. We're not that busy. We could shoot over and check it out. Even if it's nothing, that's what we do. That's what we're here for. Same thing, their lockers are getting bigger now. Local malls, you could have it shipped to a locker. Have your packages sent to the post office, or change the delivery date for a day you're around. Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
Hey, put that down. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, so with Ring and a lot of other cameras, they make them now so you download an app on your phone and you basically talk to them in real time. So if someone, if you have the doorbell, they hit the doorbell, it alerts your phone, you could talk to them live. The cameras are the same way. So if there's motion detected where your camera is pointed to, you're gonna get notified, open up live, you can react, yell at them, scream at them, then they know they're on camera, or some companies offer like a outside siren, which you saw in the last video. You can hit that, and sometimes that deters them even more, and they just walk away.
And another thing with cameras, not all cameras are created equally. We've had a burglary. Lady says, hey, I got cameras. Cool, we'll check out the footage. Just they were old cameras. You could clearly see the license plate if it was a newer camera, but they were older cameras, and we weren't able to get the license plate, so we weren't able to find out who did that. If they would have had, a better camera, they clearly pulled in the driveway, and we would have been able to find that license plate.
In the presentation, are you going to give any sense of what's happening with respect to crime in our communities, the increases, percentage of increase, what types of crime are happening more often than others? My sense is just because I subscribe to Ring, and I'm on their social network, and when something happens, I get an alert. It's in their business interest to make sure people get those alerts.
Yes.
And in addition, you have like the Nextdoor app, which is telling people of crime. So I get the sense that crime is really on the increase, but I don't know whether that's true.
Are you Gates Mills or Hunting Valley?
Gatesville.
Crime's been low for us. I mean, we had the couple burglaries last year, which we figured out who they were. It was a big crime ring in another state, actually in another country. And they just happened to hit us, Moreland Hills in another area. I mean, since then, I don't want to jinx it, but things have been really good here. So, you know, minus we have some frauds, some scams, that's everywhere. But other than that, I mean, things have been good.
Yeah, same. We really haven't had anything, knock on wood.
Yeah.
But why we're not having anything is we do a 12-hour shift, and each one of our guys will put about 100 miles on the car. We're 8 square miles, and you're driving 100 miles in a shift. That's big. People could see police all day long. So we're out there. People know we're out there. They're not going to break into a community when they see a cop car on that same road several times a day.
And last year, when we had the break-ins in this area, not just Gates Mills, I think that changed everyone's perspective. They started getting cameras. They started calling over little things that maybe weren't nothing, but could have been. So I think just everyone kind of has their eyes and ears open, as you should, because we need you to, you know, as well, just as you need us. So I think people are calling more for little things, which is preventing crime. You know, so yeah, I don't have anything to report, which is good.
So last year, we got the flock camera system.
Same.
Now Gates Mills has it. They did a huge news story on it. They blasted it. Those criminals are watching that, you know, that same news that we are. They're saying, well, why would I break in there if they have cameras seeing, you know, I'm going in and out? We monitor those cameras. We could go back and look. They're very visible. I mean, if you're driving down the road, you see a camera. Flock camera safety system. So we have them posted at all the intersections. They're a camera with a LPR, a license plate reader. So it will log every vehicle that drives by it and put it in a database. And then if something were to happen, we could always go back with the time frame and look and see what vehicles were in the area. So if we have a time frame that a house was burglarized between 12 in the afternoon and 6 o'clock when somebody gets home, we could look through that time frame and see every vehicle that has been through there. And it'll even organize it by vehicle make, vehicle model. It'll give you, has that vehicle been in the area before? And it'll tell you how many times it has. So if the same vehicle has been by, 24 times, we know that's probably a resident. We could run it and check it and see it's a resident. But if it's been there once in the past year, that's a red flag right there for us, so.
And what? We have multiple. Oh. Yes. And actually, the nice thing about the flock cameras is we can work together. So if a crime is committed in Hunting Valley, the system tracks them. I mean, we can track them all the way to Cleveland as long as they have the flock system as well. So we can all work together on the same database, which is great.
It's getting very popular. All the way out, Lake County is all doing it. So I could put in a plate, and it'll tell me, you basically track it from Hunting Valley where they went. So
it's very helpful, and criminals know that, so they're staying away from them, which is good. I honestly, do you know which incident it is exactly? Well, I mean, I could tell you, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had with the burglary, we knew it was a red van. And although it's a plate detector, it still picks up the shape of the vehicle, and you can see the color of the vehicle. So we kind of track that with the flock system. Do you want to add something to this?
Yeah, so just a couple weeks ago, we had some property damage, so we went through a fence, replaced the fence, through the yard, hit the pole. Everybody kind of get that? So we had the resident report some property damage, and went through a fence, hit a pole, so we kind of had an idea when it was. So there were some pieces, parts left behind. We knew it was a red-colored vehicle, so we went back, looked at the cameras, we isolate the timeline, we looked. there was a red vehicle coming through here, same model, so, went back, and of course, they never tell you the truth. So we had, through our investigation, I think one of the officers, I don't even remember who it was, but one of the officers found out where the car was. They went to the auto body shop in Chesterland, there it was, right there. We took some pictures, so, there's no doubt about it. If we didn't have the cameras, that, it wouldn't have been solved. Now, but that means a lot to the resident, right? You go back, you report that, hey, we found this, and, some charges. That's one example. We had an incident, turned out to be nothing on Chartley just the other day. No, you don't know about this. You don't know about this. It was nothing, though. But somebody had a Ring camera, and the people were out of town, and somebody went up to the front door and knocked at the door and peered in through the window. It checked okay. We knew what they were doing there. But the resident caught that on the Ring camera. They called us. We went back, looked at the flock cameras. We found out who it was. We made the contact. We found out what they were doing there. But those are the little things that does. We don't snoop on anybody. It's not like that. There's a reason. We had a reason for looking at it. And we go back, we look at it, and, Honey Valley has quite a few. We have 5 around town right now, so it's been a great tool. Thank you.
And also with the Ring helping, or any camera system, really, I started a database not too long ago. I think I have a couple of you guys in my system. If you do have cameras, you can email what brand they are, where they're located on your house. So if there is a crime near your house, I can instantly say, oh, Mrs. Jones has a camera pointing that directions. I can give her a call and see if she picked anything up. Down to something where there's a dog that's lost, and you see something, you could let us know, there's a dog wandering around, and we can locate the owner. So
The cameras, they also pick up, people walking or on bicycles, so any movement like that. So it's not just limited to vehicles.
Moving on, identity theft. When someone uses another person's personal identifying information, like their name, identifying number, or a credit card number without their permission to commit fraud or other crimes. Key tips to keep you from becoming a victim. When you're home, you can keep your financial records, such as your Social Security cards, Medicare cards, in a safe place. Shred papers that have your personal or medical information on it. Take your mail out of your mailbox as soon as you can. For business, only give your Social Security number if you must. Ask if you can use another kind of identification. Do not give your personal information to someone who calls you or emails you, ever. On the computer, use passwords that are not easy to guess. Use numbers and symbols. Do not respond to emails or other messages that ask for personal information. Do not put personal information on a computer in a public place like the library.
These are the Clarks. This year, they're doing things to stay safe during the pandemic. But when Ken Clark receives an unexpected call from someone offering a new machine that kills the COVID virus instantly, he's very interested. The caller then tells Ken there will be a charge for this new and novel product. But if Ken gives him his Social Security number, he would see if insurance would cover the cost of the machine. Ken isn't sure about giving out his Social Security number, but doesn't want to miss this opportunity, especially if insurance will pay for it, so he gives the caller his information. As soon as he gives out his information, though, he realizes it may have been a bad idea, and weeks later, he knows it was a bad idea, when no product ever shows up. So what can Ken do? First, he should see if any fraudulent accounts have been opened in his name by checking his credit report at annualcreditreport.com. Free credit reports are being offered weekly through April 2021. He may also consider placing a fraud alert on his credit file by contacting one of the big 3 credit reporting agencies, or even adding a permanent security freeze by contacting all 3 agencies. For help with identity theft, contact Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost's office by visiting ohioprotects.org.
For those of you who didn't grab any literature in the back table, there's a lot of information about theft, identity thefts, any type of frauds, scams. which we'll go into a few of those, and then we'll wrap it up.
Here's the current scams going on right now. We have phishing, not with the rod and reel. Phishing is when scammers use email or text messages to trick you into giving their personal information. They may try to steal your passwords, account numbers, social security number. If they get this information, they can gain access to your emails, bank account, and other accounts you have. Scammers launch thousands of phishing attacks like this every day, and they're often successful. The FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center reported that people lost $57 million to phishing schemes in 1 year. Scammers often update their tactics, but there are some signs that will help you recognize a phishing email or text message. The phishing emails or text messages may look like they're from the company you know or trust. They may look like they're from a bank account, a credit card company, social networking site, online payment site or app, or other online store. Like you get your Amazon order, it has been placed. We need some more information. Those are big ones right now. The chief actually just got one from the IRS that looked identical to an email from the IRS. Like he had to take a double take, but they're doing it. They're making little tweaks in the emails. Yes, go ahead.
You didn't click on it, right? Yeah, don't click on those either.
Some of the new ones are, we get a lot at university school. They have an IT department that they crush those before they get sent through, but it'll be an email from one teacher to another saying, hey, I'm in a meeting, can you run down and get me a couple gift cards and give me the passwords? And the email looks like it's just from the school's email, but it's not. That's how high tech these scammers are. They may say they've noticed some suspicious activity, login attempts, claim there's a problem, say you must confirm some personal information, fake invoices, click on links to make the payment, eligible for government refund, coupon or free stuff.
Spoofing, a word that's become all too common, but what exactly does it mean? According to Malwarebytes, caller ID spoofing happens when scammers fool your caller ID, making the call look like it's coming from somewhere it isn't. Scammers believe that you're more likely to answer the phone if the caller ID shows your area code or a neighboring one. In the case with the U.S. Marshals and the FBI, the U.S. Marshals Service said that imposters are spoofing their numbers to appear as if they're calling from the court or government agency. During these calls, scammers may tell you that you failed to report to jury duty and threaten jail time unless you pay a fine. They tell victims they can avoid arrest by purchasing a prepaid debit card or gift card and give them that information over the phone. The U.S. Marshals Service is reminding all of us they will never ask for such information, wire transfers, or bank routing numbers. And most importantly, never give out your personal or financial information to unknown callers, and contact your local FBI or FTC if you believe you were a victim of this scam or ones like it.
So spoofing is very common. I get it on my cell phone all the time, actually. Spoofing is when a caller deliberately falsifies the information transmitted to your caller ID, display to disguise their identity. Scammers often use neighbor spoofing so it appears that it's an incoming call is coming from a local number or a spoof number from a company or government agency that you may already know and trust. If you answer, they use scam scripts to try to steal your money or valuable personal information, which can be used in fraudulent activity. Has anyone got any of these calls on their phones or nonstop calls?
So there is an app for this, and I actually use it if I'm investigating a crime and I want to use my personal cell phone to make a call. I jump on my app and I could call that number, and my personal cell phone number won't show up when I call that person. One from my local area code will pop up, a 247 number, 423 number. So we use that in law enforcement too.
COVID-19, scams starting with that as well. Identity theft when people post a photo of their vaccination card on social media. If you have the vaccine card, don't post a photo of it. Scammers can see those and steal your name, birthday, and other personal information that is on there. COVID-19 testing, vaccine, and treatment scams. Don't trust offers to get early access to any approved vaccine. Be aware that scammers are also targeting Medicare recipients offering COVID-19 testing in an attempt to steal personal information. So just be very cautious of that as well. If you receive calls, emails, or other communications claiming to be from the Treasury Department and offering COVID-19 related grants or stimulus payments in exchange for personal financial info or an advance fee or charge of any kind, including gift cards, do not respond. Those are all scams.
If it's too good to be true, it's probably not true. If you get any of these, call us. You know.
Yeah.
We'll come talk to you. We'll let you know. We'll confirm it.
Yes.
Unemployment fraud, huge now. We're getting these, resident will call us, say, hey, I got a credit card in the, gift card in the mail. It doesn't have my name on it. It's from the Ohio Job and Family Services. So people are using other people's addresses, names, information, and it's getting sent out to them. And then some people would go to that mailbox, pull out those redemption cards that the government was giving out. So if you receive one or more of the following, and you did not file for unemployment benefits in 2020, you may have a fraudulent claim in your name. You could see the forms, the 1099, letter from Ohio Department of Job Family Services for unemployment benefits, the U.S. Bank Relia card, or notification from your employer saying that you applied for benefits and you did not apply for benefits.
There's more information with this on the table back there, so feel free to grab a copy. It summarizes this, what to do if you fall victim of this. Actually,
my office manager.
Imagine you had invested in Google, Tesla, or Bitcoin back in 2009. Here's the next.
Called me and kind of with a chuckle, and she said, hey, I hear you're unemployed and filing for unemployment. And I said, no. And she said, well, I have a piece of paper here with your information and your social security number.
This news was surprising to Marianne Ivany, who works 2 jobs in a medical lab and then teaching theology. She's never filed for unemployment in her life.
I know 3 or 4 people this has happened to personally.
In fact, this has happened to hundreds of thousands of people. The Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services says of the 1.4 million unemployment claims filed since May of 2020, half were flagged as fraudulent. A spokesperson tells me in December alone, we stopped 100,000 fraudulent PUA claims before payments went out the door. But the big question, where was the breach?
That's what everybody's wondering. How are they getting these social security numbers?
And not just that, these fraud claims have the correct address of employment and the right person to contact in the HR department. The ODJFS says the federal government is looking into it, but so far they don't know where these criminals are getting personal information. And even though this is scary for Marianne, she feels worse for the people who actually need the unemployment money.
People who need their money, who are unemployed, who are dealing with health situations, families, children staying home, and they're really counting on that money. And then there's others out there abusing the system.
So obviously Marianne is lucky. She was able to stop the fraud. And I posted this last night on my Facebook page.
So again, there's information on the table back there regarding this, what to look for in your accounts and your personal information to make sure nothing's happening that shouldn't be. Next, I believe the last, grandparent Scammers who gain access to consumers' personal information by using social media or purchasing data from cyber thieves are creating storylines to prey on the fears of their grandparents. The scammers then call and impersonate a grandchild in a crisis situation, asking for immediate financial assistance. The callers may spoof the caller ID that appears on the recipient's phone to make the incoming call look like it's coming from a trusted source. If you wind up in a conversation, use caution if you're being pressured for information or to send money quickly. We've had a handful of these in our area, actually. Scammers often try to bully victims into transferring money through a mobile payment app by wiring money or purchasing gift cards or money orders. If you receive a call like this, report it immediately to us. If someone's calling you over the phone and asking for money or sending an email, call that person. Verify that's them, because unfortunately a lot of people fall victim of this. It's extremely sad. It's very hard to track the people that are behind it. Typically they're in another country. So if someone's asking you for money, before you go buying gift cards and things like that, please make sure you're verifying that it's real or that it's who that person claims to be. Ma'am, do you have a question?
I got one of those calls.
Yeah.
I believed it. You know, it took me about.
They sound real. They sound real. Oh, yeah.
So real.
So I'm going to share this.
When
Oh,
he said my grandson was in jail and he was
Oh, yeah.
embarrassed to call his dad. But then I did call the police and the whoever it was said, we can't really do anything, drop dead. So you can't really call you. That's not true.
you can always call us. 100%. As far as us finding out who did it, it can be a little challenging. Like I said, sometimes these people aren't even in the United States.
Whoever I talked to on the phone said, we don't take those calls, so.
So like if nobody ever told us about it, we wouldn't know it was a big problem in our area. If everybody was afraid,
Makes no police and the dispatchers that we don't do anything about that, so. I wouldn't like to,
yeah.
talk to a policeman.
Sure.
Oh my God, I was scared to death.
Well, from here on out, hopefully that doesn't happen to you again. But if you're not comfortable calling dispatch, call the town hall during the day, and we can come to your house and speak to you directly. It's not an issue at all. I'm going to share this last video and then open for questions if anyone has any.
When I think about something happening to her, you know, it would be horrible.
Mary Myers still gets emotional when she thinks about the frightening call she recently received from someone posing as her granddaughter.
Grandmom. And so I'm thinking in my mind, okay, this is Renee. So I said, what's the matter? She said, I had an accident.
The person on the other end told Myers she'd been in a minor crash and that she was with a bondsman who was demanding her grandmother pay $2,600.
I was upset. She was hurt. I didn't know how badly she was hurt.
But the 80-year-old was suspicious and told the caller she needed to consult a lawyer.
With that, bang, the phone went down.
Click.
Click.
She also reached out to family friend Adam Levin, who happens to be a cybersecurity expert. He told her she almost fell victim to a common trap known as the grandparent scam.
Well, first of all, they're trying to pull on your heartstrings.
The Federal Trade Commission says last year alone, it received more than 400,000 complaints about imposter scams like the grandparent scam. Levin says a major red flag, requests for specific types of payment.
A cashier's check, some kind of bank check, prepaid debit card.
Meyer never handed over any money, but has a message for the person who tried to trick her.
I would ream him up one side and down the other. Ron, what type of mind do you have to do that to somebody?
She's now speaking out to warn others not to fall for the trap. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Skillman, New Jersey.
Now to NBC 10 responds, a warning about
Open for questions.
Actually, it's more of a comment.
Okay.
On several of the screens, it talked about mining social media. And they've become very clever now. They gather your information by these little games. Like pick your, what are you going to get for Christmas? If you're born in June, you get nothing. July, you get whatever. And by entering your information
actually look like fun. But they are finding out your birth year, your
Right.
birthday, your favorite color, your favorite food, your grandchildren's names, all the kinds of things that you might put in a password.
Yeah, I would suggest staying away from those. Another one that we didn't mention, but it's, I've had one case of it here in Gates Mills a few months ago. A lady was thinking about purchasing a dog from Facebook Market. It was a scam. We found out who it was. She got her money back, and it was okay. But be very careful if you're making purchases with Facebook Market. And just know that, I'm assuming Honey Valley, like we do, if you want to purchase an item from there, you can come to our station. These people are strangers. I wouldn't have them come to your house. So that's also just a little tip. Any questions for anyone else? Okay, well, feel free again to grab any of the literature in the back, and there's cupcakes and cookies and water.
And if anybody wants us to, do a walk around their house, get our input on what we think,
Yeah.
give us a call.
Or if you think of something that, later, email us. Both of our emails are on the website. We can give you a call or email you back try to help you the best way we can. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.